He has a dog, and he's an American.
Fatality.
Hello and welcome back to another round 24 to be exact, of Wake Up 3. We are your hosts, Molly
And Cam, and we are a fighting game podcast from a couple who loves fighting games.
It is mix-up time, and it has been several weeks that I've done the mix-up, so it is finally back to Cam.
Yeah, it's been 3 or 4 weeks since my last mix-up, so I hope you're ready. I don't know
you're
that
ready.
Yeah, well, I am ready. Basically, I'm going to have you guess a Mortal Kombat character. I'm going to do this 3 times. I've got 3 characters.
Okay.
But I'm going to have you guess the character from Mortal Kombat 1 based on the names of their moves. Hammer Fist, Deathquake, and You Suck.
A general shout.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Yeah, I figured the You Suck would definitely give it away.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to throw the hammer thing in there just as a fun thing. Next up, Soaring Assassin, Turn and Burn, Shadow Blade.
Turn and Burn.
Soaring Assassin, Turn and Burn, Shadow Blade.
Turn and Burn. The bird makes me want to say Scorpion.
It is not Scorpion.
But my very first thought was Katana, but then Shadow Blade doesn't make sense. It was just because the assassin.
Soaring Assassin, yeah.
Well, let's see. What's my official guess here? Let's try Ashra.
Wrong.
Dang it.
You
I
ready?
thought Shadow Blade maybe.
Yeah. It is Smoke.
Okay, he crossed my mind a few times.
Okay.
But
Turn and Burn. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It was a little tricky.
All right.
And then, final one. Twin Sovereigns, Royalties, and Mouthful.
Well, I'm going to go with Melina.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
That's right.
First 2 moves, I was like, could be Katana.
Yeah, I mean, Twin Sovereigns and then Royalties.
Cool.
Just the 3 characters. You got a 2 out of 3, which is pretty solid. So,
yeah,
I guess you passed.
Yeah, I guess I won. Last week, in fighting games, we got to talk about a new Tekken character, and this week we get to talk about the same, because the Reina trailer is out. The final character on the 32-character base roster is revealed. So let's talk about this new Lady of Tekken.
Yeah, let's talk about it. First thing I want to say is, comes with a new stage, and that is probably what I'm most excited about, to be honest, from this trailer.
Oh, yes.
It reminds me, it's some sort of dojo with the destructible walls, and yeah, that reminded me a lot of the Geese Howard estate, and that is our favorite stage to play on in Tekken 7. So anything similar to that, I am all for. But yeah, the character themselves, pretty cool, I guess. I know it has a lot of people super hyped. I've seen a lot of people online saying that it's going to be their instant main, or this is the character that's selling them Tekken 8, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of interest for Reina. Yeah. So let's talk about the little bit that we know from her trailer. Reina is another supposed heir of the Mishima family, so I was going to say a son. A child of Heihachi.
Mm-hmm. His only daughter, right?
So far that we know.
That we know of, yeah.
So, she kind of has the Mishima style. She's kind of here to provide the Heihachi moveset that we won't otherwise get because he is not in this game.
He is dead.
Yes.
As Harada recently said on stream, he is completely dead.
Okay. Well, yeah. Harada has said.
Yeah,
He has spoken.
Harada said on the Reina stream, Heihachi Mishima is completely dead.
All right, well, that is definitive. So Heihachi's gone.
He's gone.
And now we have his daughter, who encounters Jin and Kazuya in her trailer. So, some brothers.
Yeah.
/ nephews.
Yeah, sort of.
Just some family,
weird.
some family talk.
Yeah.
They don't know who she is. They're both confused by her identity.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells Kazuya, the second fight, "You'll soon know who I am." And then she starts doing some lightning moves.
And her nickname in this one is Purple Lightning.
Yep.
Purple Electrics. She's got those Heihachi moves, the palm strikes, the electric wind god fist.
Reina's not very old, it seems. She refers to Jin as her senior. We can assume she's younger than 22, 23.
Okay.
How much younger? We don't know. Is she attending Mishima High? I guess we'll find out because they're not telling us her bio yet. They want you to play the story to find out.
Yeah. Yep.
And what I'm hoping that means is that there's another character attached to Reina. I'm hoping that Heihachi gifted her another bear. That's right. Let's bring the third bear into the Tekken franchise.
Yeah, let's get 3 bears. Let's do it. That sounds fun to me.
I think there will be something more than just, hey, I'm Heihachi's kid, revealed in her story.
Hey, I have a bear too. It's a koala, and I chuck it like a bowling ball.
Yeah.
That sounds horrible.
First DLC.
It's a koala that I throw.
But yeah, I would say as far as her gameplay looks, she's just got a little bit of that Heihachi flavor. I feel like her gameplay doesn't excite me too much.
Okay. I think the more I consider her, the more I do definitely want to try the character out when the game comes out.
Okay.
Because I do enjoy the Mishima style, but I think I just prefer like a flavor of Mishima and then something else. Yeah, yeah. Because I have played a little bit of Kazuya here and there and just a tiny bit of Heihachi. I kind of stay away from Jin. Never really been a Jin guy, I guess.
Yeah.
She's got the stylish, almost special moves that they kind of have. They're not necessarily specials, but you know what I mean, where these are unique to the Mishimas. And she's got that, but she also has like a Lydia-style karate, a couple of moves from Kunimitsu. So it looks like she's going to be quick, and I like that.
Most people seem happy about it. Some people are upset. It's not an OG character, so to speak. But, you know, I think we could all see this coming, knowing that Heihachi was not going to be in this game. So we were going to get another Mishima, whether it be, and I still hope we get more. I'm still hoping for Jinpachi.
Yeah, well,
but we knew.
We need a grumpy old man somewhere, so maybe we'll get him as DLC.
Yeah. We knew that it had to be another Mishima representation.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else to say about Reina? Aside from we also know now that we're getting trailers every week for Tekken 8 until it's released, so that's exciting.
Yeah, it is. We'll be talking a little bit of Tekken each week from now until end of January, it seems.
January 26th.
Look forward to that. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Now that we know the full roster, I'm pretty psyched to get my hands on the game.
Yeah, it's feeling more real. It's feeling closer.
Yeah, it's feeling close.
Yep.
It's feeling concrete now instead of just it's whenever away. Because for the longest time, we didn't even have a release date.
That's right.
So.
That's right. We were just like, sometime in 2024, we'll see.
Yeah. So
it's not gonna happen this year, but
I'm feeling it. I'm getting pretty hyped.
Last we spoke, Omni-Man was fresh off the press, and everybody's had a little bit of a chance to play him if you had early access, and we do. So what do you think?
I think so far he seems like he's pretty easy to pick up, and he's pretty solid. I don't plan on really playing him.
So he's not for you?
He's not for me. I'll play him in like invasions or like maybe against you or a friend online or something, but I'm never going to main this character or play him in ranked. He's just not like my character, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just feel dedicated to like certain characters that I really like, and he's not gonna crack that space.
Okay.
So that being said, I don't really enjoy fighting him so far because I usually don't see Omni-Man players actually doing anything cool. They're usually just like backing up and doing the dumbest shit possible.
Oh.
It'll be like 2 hits into Serena, into 2 hits into Serena. Like, oh, I've seen that before. Or it'll be back away, do your Superman float thing or whatever, and then, what is it, a Shiva ground pound, basically? He flies up, comes down.
Basically.
Yeah, pretty much a Shiva thing. And it's easy to block. It's just like, man, you're reducing the character to this.
He is new, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Like, part
That's
of
true.
that is just excitement for having someone new to play.
Yeah.
And I would say pretty fun. I liked him.
Okay.
Well, I like him. I haven't dedicated myself to playing him in League or anything like that. I've been playing as Melina again so far.
Right.
But I think I enjoy his play style.
Like, you just like his general basic moves and stuff.
Yeah, like I just had fun playing him in the few matches that we did against each other to try him out.
Okay.
I felt like he was just a joy, you know? I was just like laughing out loud at times, just having so much fun. Doing all his fun, crazy specials.
Yeah, okay.
And I feel like they always do, as we have talked about, they always do a great job with the guests. So, I mean, even if you're not one for guests, I would say give it a try still.
Yeah, I feel like they did a good job with the character. I don't really know Omni-Man too well because I haven't seen Invincible, but I mean, it seems like they represented him pretty well. People seem happy on that front, and from the limited knowledge that I do have of the series, and I guess show in general, I've picked up that they pretty much used all the memes from it in little interactions, so I think people are liking that too. That being said, yeah, he is fun. He does feel kind of overpowered right now, but I'm sure that'll change in the future. We'll see. It just seems like his damage is kind of too high, especially for meterless. But
I think that's just a new character thing.
It's an NRS tradition.
Yeah, so ride the wave. I mentioned that I was going to keep track in season 2 of League, which happened to start right away. That was a surprise.
Yeah, that was a shock.
So right after season 1 was over, boom. Season 2, baby, it's Blood Moon. But I said I was going to keep track of all of my matches, and I have been thus far, and I have not come across an Omni-Man yet.
That's interesting because I feel like half of my matches are Omni-Man.
I haven't played nearly as many as you yet.
Right.
But I am planning on playing more this season. Yeah, I gotta get that Lee May skin.
Yeah, of course.
Speaking of skins, with Omni-Man came new skins for a few characters that you could get.
I actually am tempted to spend the money on the Dragon Crystals for that Sub-Zero skin. And I have no connection to Deadly Alliance, I should say that. But I like what they did with this skin. I just think it looks cool on its own. I like the slim design that he's got going on for this. It gives me like early Noob Saibot vibes or early Bihan vibes. It makes me think of Mythologies a little bit.
I'm not a fan of it.
I didn't like it upon first look, but it's grown on me, and I kind of love it, and it makes me want to play Sub-Zero, and that's weird.
What are the other skins?
Lee May, she's bald underneath her little bandana. We found that out.
Yeah, so there's Lee May, but she's like wearing pants.
She's wearing pants. They call it her classic, her deception, but she's wearing pants instead of a little bikini or shorts or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I don't care. I have no connection to Lee May.
Yeah, I don't. That's fine, and it doesn't bother me that much personally, but I would imagine that the 3D era fans are maybe not pleased.
Yeah, just because they call it a classic and it doesn't really look like the classic.
And Combat League is down to first to 2.
Yeah, one thing I didn't want to say about skins, Omni-Man only has one skin.
Yep.
Which is kind of wild.
One.
Is that how all guests are going to be? Is that how all DLC is going to be? I hope not. Imagine Quan Chi only getting one skin.
That would be so sad.
That would be really
Please
disappointing
no.
because he has 3 in the story, right?
I hope that's not the case. Please.
Yeah. You see his Union of Light and Order of Darkness skins in the story. So
I mean,
please give me at least those 3.
Yeah, I feel like the MK characters should be okay.
They should be, but it's just
It
worrying
is weird,
because
though.
it's the first character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
First DLC.
To not have anything else.
Yeah. His gear is cool, but yeah, it's kind of disappointing that he only has one. And it makes me worried for Quan Chi, but I guess we'll find out in 5 weeks.
5 weeks
can't
till Quan Chi.
wait. I can't wait.
Christmas Quanch. One cool thing you kind of touched on with Omni-Man is that his gear piece is a trio of things.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I actually like that. It's his boots, gloves, and cape all wrapped into one. So you kind of get a bigger customization feel to it, anyways, even though it's still just one thing. And some of them are cool. I just unlocked one that has the MK Dragon logo on the back of the cape, and that's the one I'm using because I think it's really fun.
Neat.
Yeah.
Someone who's not gonna play Omni-Man.
Yeah, I'm still having fun just
You're just
kind of...
doing invasions.
Yeah, I'm just having fun running through invasions with him, and fun is relative because I'm not actually having fun with invasions. It still feels too long. I just want all the skins that I can get, and I really mostly want the all-white Baraka skin because I want to pair it with the White Pants Jacks.
Another thing about Omni-Man is that they did a lot of stuff from Invincible, but they also did stuff from just J.K. Simmons.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they gave him some lines in response to characters where it was just from his other work. So that was kind of cool. And then speaking of that, there's been some current buzzing around over Homelander and his voice actor, ? Because Anthony Starr responded to someone recently who asked if he was voicing Homelander in MK1, and he said nope. So a lot of people are very sad and upset, and I get it. I would share that sentiment. However, we have to remember that back in MK11, Kerry Tagawa, voice of Shang Tsung, was asked prior to release if he would be voicing Shang Tsung, to which he said no.
Right.
I think because Homelander is still so far out, and so is season 4 of The Boys, he probably just can't say. And I think I'm just, crossing my fingers that that's the case again. So
that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it official just because it's still several months out.
Yeah, he's probably
contracts.
Under contract.
Yeah, contracts, guys.
And they just got over the strike, so he wasn't able to say anything at all about it for the longest time.
That's true.
So him saying nope now literally could just be like, yeah, I'm told to say this until a certain date.
That's true.
So, I don't know. I read that and my heart sank for a second, like
for
you
sure,
said.
for
But
sure.
it's not official yet.
It doesn't feel good to see, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah, with something as major as Kerry Tagawa voicing Shang was in the last game, having, the same situation and then it turning out to be true, I just feel like, I'm just holding out hope.
Yeah, same.
So
And
I wouldn't run around calling it official or anything. Okay, so when Omni-Man dropped on Thursday, PC got a little extra juicy update on theirs, which was unlocked Trimmer.
yeah,
Good to go, fully playable.
I feel like my eyes are rolling into the back of my skull right now. Like, I can't even believe it, but at the same time, I'm not surprised with this particular game.
Yeah.
But yeah, they got to play as Tremor as well, online, invasions, practice, whatever. And they have since changed that, but if you were to have taken Tremor into practice and he was your most recent selected character in practice, you can still use him in practice mode.
Oh my god. What?
So you'll still be able to lab him for the next 11 days on PC or whatever. So
I guess there was some good karma in the PC world.
it's the dumbest thing.
So if you're on PC and playing Trimmer right now, what's up? How's it going? I hope you're having fun. I wish I could be playing him. You are so lucky.
Yeah, right. And if you're losing with him on November 20th, then
then fuck you.
It's weird because you've got that day minus 11 advantage or whatever. So.
Right. Well, aside from all of that in our weekend fighting games, we mentioned last week that we were going to get into something a little bit different with our fighting game content this week. And this is a series that I had never played before. I knew a couple of the characters through another fighting game that we play. And Cam has played this a little bit. Do you want to get into it?
Sure. This is Samurai Shodown. I have fooled around with it a little bit in the past, but we jumped into it from the very beginning, starting with Samurai Shodown 1 together. And I kind of think we had a blast with it.
We had originally planned to play this collection, which is the 1 through 5. We planned on playing it for like a week because we thought Combat League would take a week off.
Mm-hmm.
But we ended up just condensing this down to kind of like several sessions.
Yeah, like a marathon day, basically.
A marathon for sure in kind of sessions because we played the last one a bit longer.
Yeah.
And we'll get to why that is. But first impressions, I knew that this was an SNK fighter, which my exposure to SNK is King of Fighters and, of course, like Geese Howard,
Right.
being one of my favorite characters of all time, like of any, like outside of fighting games even. So I knew that this was probably going to be something that I would like. And the other thing I knew about it was that it was... I had the idea that it was just a little bit different because of the samurai element, like kind of being the theme.
Right.
So I wasn't sure what to expect of in terms of pace. But once we got into it, it was kind of just like... I guess initially kind of just like any other fighter, you know? The first game is from 94? 93.
Yep.
And they were pumping these first few games out, like, once a year.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, the first 4 came out in 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Samurai Shodown 4, 1996.
Yeah.
So they were rushing them for a minute there.
But yeah, let's start with number 1.
I had a blast with all of these games, honestly. But even the first one has a really great foundation, and I felt like it just kind of got better from there, especially with 2. We'll get to that. But the first game has 12 playable characters, and I feel like all of them are pretty sweet for the most part. So you have like a jungle style man, you've got a little freak, you've got a bunch of samurais, and you've got a huge character with a chain.
Yeah.
So I felt like it had a lot of variety to it and a lot of charm, like immediately. Like, oh, this game's from 93, but it feels and looks pretty tight.
I gave each of the games a rating.
Okay.
So for the first one, I rated it a 9 out of 10 because I was really impressed. I felt like it was a super clean first entry to the series.
Yeah.
And the stages and the music were so good. Very much King of Fighters vibes with the stage backgrounds and the people doing the double time movement in the final round.
I love that.
I love that too. And even... yeah, it brings about some pretty funny animations for sure.
Yeah, when the background characters are just like rapidly eating a piece of meat.
Yes.
I did want to mention a couple little unique things that I thought were, especially for the time period, 1993, unique to this game. Little stage interaction elements like barrels that'll be on the stage or partitions that are just across it, little lanterns, whatever. You can break all those things, or they can just be in the foreground and sometimes just be in the way of your character.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, we were fighting behind a partition as 2 characters for like 15 seconds before it finally got split in half and broke and fell down.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was super cool for a game of that time period. And I feel like that's honestly something I haven't really seen too much since. The item guy and the flag guy. Did you want to talk about them?
Yeah.
I want to start with the item guy.
Okay.
There's this guy that'll run through the stage periodically, and I don't think there's anything that you do that controls that. Or like, I don't know. There might be some sort of element, like maybe when someone gets hit a certain amount of times, he comes out. But this guy will run across the stage with a bag, and he just reaches in and chucks out a food item, and whoever grabs it first will gain a little bit of their life back, which I think is really cool. I think that's sweet, though. I love that. Just a dude that just throws food out of a backpack and just keeps going.
It's definitely a different element that I didn't expect and I'm not used to seeing in fighting games.
Yeah, like a scramble to, I better grab that food item and gain a little bit of health back. It's helpful.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Another guy that's always with you, even if you're out in a field all alone, is who we have lovingly referred to as Flag Guy, but something of a referee. At first, I was reminded of the Shy Guys, just because he's got red and white flags.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like dressed in all black and his face is masked up too, so you can't see what he looks like or anything. But he just follows you guys around, all up and down the fight line.
I love it.
He also will do little like celebrations when you sometimes like halfway through the fight it'll show up with like stats.
Yeah.
And he'll
yeah.
spin around and throw rose petals and confetti.
Yeah, he's
I
cool.
feel like he's great.
He was a really fun little addition to the game. I enjoyed him.
Yeah, he's another element of this series that I felt like was so unique. And to me that was like, oh, this is Samurai Shodown.
Yeah. Like, oh, this
like,
is what I'm getting
This
into.
is what it is.
Yeah.
Or along with those two elements is
Right.
the clashes.
Yeah. That was actually next on my list, too.
Oh, okay.
It's really cool. And what it is basically there's weapon clashes where if you and your opponent strike with your weapons at the same time, they'll connect and you'll have to do this button mashing little mini game in the middle of the fight where whoever presses the most will kind of fling the other person backwards and that person will lose their sword and have to pick it back up off the ground. That introduces kind of a mini game to it where, say I knocked your sword out of your hand, you would have to scramble to pick it back up, and I could stand over it and try to guard it and just like poke at you or something and keep you away from your sword.
Mm-hmm.
That mind game would probably make you feel, I know this happened to me. When you did this to me, like the longer I would be without my weapon, the longer I would be like, I need to get it back. And it would make me make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a mental thing, and I think that's super cool.
That is really cool. It adds just like another level to the gameplay without without creating a new combo or something like that.
It felt like that samurai vibe. Like that would be a panic moment. Like I have to get my weapon back. I'm basically naked without it. You know what I mean?
Yep. And one wrong move could really cost me.
Oh yeah, the damage in this game can be insane. If you do like a whiff on a special or something, you might take 50% damage off of one heavy attack.
Right. That's another very unique thing to this series.
It's cool.
It is really cool. I appreciate all of these things that they're just concepts that I wouldn't have ever considered for a fighting game, like in that context.
Yeah, truly.
So, yeah. Very cool right off the bat. And let's get into the characters because the roster is, I would say once again, like pretty impressive.
You've got Jubei. He's got 2 swords. He's a little bit more of a reckless samurai, I think, and a thief. He's cool.
Older.
He's older.
A bit more rugged.
He's got an eye patch. He fights a little bit more recklessly. I like him. I think he's really cool.
He's got 2.
Yeah, he's got 2. Who else are the samurai in that game? Is that it? Oh, Ukyo. He's in it already.
Yeah.
I almost forgot him.
Already.
I guess kind of just the rival of Haomaru.
Yeah.
He's kind of cool though. I like him.
The first time that I saw this character and saw the stance once we got into the fight, I was sold. I was like, yes, yeah. I like this guy.
He's got kind of a weird back turn.
Yeah. Then the stance was like never quite the same from the first game. The first game is the best one. I'm going to stand by that until I've played all of them. But
okay.
Yeah, the stance, I think maybe it's because he wasn't ill yet, but I don't really know. We don't know about him yet. He's got all the ladies in that game too.
Oh, that's so funny.
They rush out.
Yeah. You win and like 5 girls run out
with him.
It didn't really seem like
that one.
It didn't really seem like it, yeah.
Are those all the samurai?
Those are all the samurai in the first game. And then I guess Nakororu, the bird girl with a sword or with a little knife. She's not really a samurai, is she?
No,
okay.
I don't think so.
A bird girl with a knife doesn't sound like a samurai. What am I saying? So there is her. There's the little green freak, Genin. He is sweet. I loved him. And I know you kind of liked him too.
Yeah, I like him.
He's got that Baraka fly through the air helicopter move, but he can do it on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like once I found that out, I was obsessed with it. Earthquake, a huge dude with a chain. You've got kind of 2 ninjas. You've got a straight-up ninja, Hanzo Hattori. He's able to teleport and throw a shuriken, do a fire punch, that sort of thing. And then another one, Galford. He has a dog, and he's an American.
And the dog's name is Poppy.
Yeah.
And it's the best.
Yeah, Poppy rules.
You can tell we just came off of 2 weeks of animal-themed episodes because...
That's right.
We're really focusing on the animals again. But, yeah, Poppy is great.
There were a lot of there were a lot of animal, like, little companions in this game.
There were a few.
I love it. I thought it was so fun. It's super cool to see just a little pet following your character around during the fight. Wan Fu, a huge guy with a sword, who later gets a new weapon. But for now, he's got a big sword, a scimitar. Charlotte, a fencer. Kiyoshiro, he's a kabuki man with a naginata. He kind of bounces around on one foot. Top 3. Let's go with Genin, Galford, and Jubei.
Mine are Hanzo, Ukyo, and Genon.
Okay. Solid top 3.
Genon has like a great laugh when he wins. It's amazing. I love it.
Cool. He's so cool.
Best like soundbite goes to that.
Yeah,
voice
definitely.
actor.
He was just super fun in general. Weird little creep. He was kind of a goblin man, a little gremlin.
Yeah, also his windscreen quote in the first game is great. It's unmatched, I think.
It's so good. It's one of the best ones.
Except for maybe one way later on that you took a screenshot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That was crazy. But, yeah, his is super good. I love it. He was my number 1. But I did notice that, yeah, two out of our top 3 is overlapped, which is pretty cool. It's interesting. And then you had Ukyo, the ailing swordsman. Yeah, he's already sick apparently in the first game. So that's why he's got his back turned. He's, I guess, trying to prevent coughing.
All right. Well, first game, I give it a solid 9 out of 10.
It was a great starting point for the series.
Yeah. I think on the scale of first games, it's pretty high up there for a fighting game. It's pretty good. Like, it's impressive.
Yeah, it was super fun. Even going back and playing it for the first time. Like, it came out 30 years ago, and it was super fun.
All right, number 2. The next one.
Okay, 1994, Samurai Shodown 2. Every character comes back, except for one, Tam Tam, the jungle man with the big sword.
Yes. With some new characters.
Yes, there are a couple of new characters. I only liked one of them. You liked 2. Genjiro was the only one that I liked. He's another swordsman, but he uses, like, throwing, like, playing cards, I guess. That part's weird.
I feel like they're illusions of cards.
Yeah,
like
he has
magic.
Yeah, he has these like magical.
They're huge
throwing cards that he chucks out. They're gigantic. It shows up like a little, I don't know, Queen of Hearts or whatever, and it'll just fly across to hit you. And then he has these more aggressive sword attacks. Mm-hmm. I just thought he was super cool. Nicotine, Seeker, Cham Cham, all bad.
Okay, well, you can have your wrong opinion because I had been told about that character before, Nicotine, Caffeine.
Oh yeah.
You told me about this character before, and I was like, yeah, sounds pretty dumb or gross or whatever. I loved this little character. I was like, who's this tiny Raiden? And you're like, oh, that's Nicotine. I hate that character. And I was like, oh, I want to try it.
Yeah, he's a short old man with a little Raiden hat.
I liked it.
Super old.
Yeah, he's great. He was one of my favorites in this game. Before we get into like our favorite characters and all that, the second game, when you get to the character select screen, is the most tranquil vibe, especially for a fighting game from this time period. 94. First impressions of 2 were they're wasting no time in this year between games, year between releases. They're making brand new characters, and in my opinion, a lot of them are good. But yes, everybody pretty much comes back, aside from that one guy.
Yeah, just Tam Tam.
And he's kind of taken over by someone that's maybe related to him.
Yeah, it's his younger sister, Cham Cham, and she's this little cat-like girl who jumps on you and claws at you and does some pounces and random grabs and stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't love her.
Well, she has a monkey.
Yeah,
so it's another bring your pet to work.
Yeah, that's right. So she does have a monkey that follows around, and I'm not sure if he's involved in any of the moves. I feel like a lot of the pets you can use in combat,
I
which
never
is cool.
did it, but yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
It seems like you should be able to, right?
I know, right? Yeah, you should be able to.
But
she also has a boomerang. It's an interesting concept.
Yeah, I thought she was okay. Like, something different.
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
Yeah. So, I guess you still do get one tribal person.
Mm-hmm.
Seeker. He was this weird German man with a giant metal arm. Didn't like him. I played him once, and I did not care for it.
Yeah, I would say, I actually noted that Seeker was the most forgettable newcomer.
he probably stood out the most in terms of feeling like he didn't really fit the roster.
Yeah, and I think that showed because he never returns. That's his only, well, I shouldn't say never, but
In these 5
in
games.
these 5 games, that's the only one. He's in 1 out of 5.
That's right.
So, I never mentioned that. I think, I want to say it's in the first one too, but there are stages where there's just not music and it's just silent.
Yeah.
And it's just maybe sound effects of wind. And that was another concept that I thought was really cool and something that I have not experienced in fighting games. Just reminding you that, like, nothing has to have, like, the formula of, well, there's always music.
Right,
So we're
like,
going to put music. You know what?
Like, this is what you do
like,
in a
this
game.
is what you do.
It's a video game or whatever. Yeah. It's really
kind
cool.
of pushing the boundaries. And I like that.
Yeah. There's actually that you saying that reminds me, I think it was this game. There's a character playing a flute in the background. There's just a little flute guy.
Oh.
And once I noticed that, I kind of saw like, hey, that guy's actually playing the song that's happening right now because the only music was just a flute in the background. And I thought that was super cool. Like, hey, it's actually that guy that's, I guess, performing for our fight.
My favorite characters in this game were obviously Nicotine.
Okay.
I was hyped for Nicotine. And then Charlotte, I really liked by the second game. She didn't really click with me in the first one.
Yeah.
I tried her once in the first game and I wasn't getting it. But by game 2, I started vibing with Charlotte. Like, I really liked her. I wrote her down for game 2. One of my favorites. The third favorite I liked was Hanzo / Genjiro. Because this was Genjiro's first game.
Okay. Yeah.
And I felt like his vocals and his persona were hilarious.
Yeah.
This is a character that I very much vibe with. First off, he's massive.
Yeah, he's this huge dude.
They introduced this, like, new samurai, Genjiro. Cool.
Yep.
But he's huge. So it's like, if Geese Howard on steroids was a younger samurai, a samurai with purple hair.
That's a wild thing to say.
Yeah, I just thought he was really funny.
He was cool. He
I
drinks
like
from this
him.
huge bowl, and it sounds like plastic when he throws it on the ground.
Yeah. And a unique thing about him in 2 is that just from him jumping back,
Oh yeah.
he'll just scream, "Dooya!" every time.
I love it. There are some characters
It's just so
that talk
intense.
a lot.
It's so intense. I love it. Who are your favorite characters? Those were mine.
My top 3 in this one were, I would say, Genjiro, and Jubei. Jubei is actually better in this one. I think this might actually be my favorite version of him.
Okay.
Because after that, they kind of dumb him down a little bit.
They do.
I liked those 3 the most.
Okay. I gave this installment of Samurai Shodown a 10 out of 10. I love this one.
It's definitely an improvement. I think the only step back is adding the weirdo of Seeker.
Yeah, that was my one note.
Yeah,
it's okay.
fine.
We'll
It doesn't
forgive
matter.
it because it's so good otherwise.
Yeah, definitely. That is a good ass select screen though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so good. I
That's
love
really
it.
good. I like it a lot. That's a good one. That is one of the best. I wanted to say something else about Samurai Shodown 2 before we move on. Well, I wanted to mention Wan Fu, the guy that has the big sword. He's this big dude. He's a huge guy to start. And he had a huge sword. But in 2, they do bring him back, and this is the last time we see him in this collection. But he just has this giant, like, tree trunk or giant stone, and I think that's way cooler. He has these air moves where he swings it around so fast that it starts on fire and smacks your character across the screen. He chucks it, and then he has to go and pick it up. So I think he was the only character that I saw in the whole collection that could throw their weapon and then have to go and collect it on their own. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you would only drop them from clashes, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool, and I was chucking it at you constantly because I thought that was a fun thing. So I wanted to shout him out because I really liked that dude.
When Wanfu wins his tree trunk, he'll just, like, plant it in the ground and then quickly carve out a statue of himself.
How does he even do it? He just, like, punches the shit out of it or something?
Oh, I don't even know.
I feel like he just, like, punches it a bunch, and yeah, he just makes this statue of himself and then kisses it. Did he kiss it?
Did he kiss it?
I feel like he kissed it.
I think you're making that up.
Maybe not. Am I making that up? I guess let us know in the comments.
Maybe he would, though, because he did say some crazy shit.
He was goofy as hell. I loved him.
It was pretty random.
Yeah. So thinking back on it, I liked that dude a lot more. And I think that might be because I missed him in the other games.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And I didn't realize what I had until it was gone.
Okay.
But
wow.
That was probably my favorite ending in like the whole series from what we've seen so far.
Ganon scratches his butt and then notices that he's being watched and runs away.
Yeah, he gets embarrassed. It rules. I love that he's just like this creepy little gremlin, but he's also a family man.
Mm-hmm.
He's cool.
He is cool. I think that's about it for 2. Great game.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's very, very good.
Now, before moving on to 3, Cam informed me that this game is a bit controversial. We played Third Strike for the first time. You told me something similar, and I ended up thinking that game was the shit. So I thought, well, I'm in for a treat. If this installment is a problem, I'm probably going to maybe enjoy it. I was a little bit wrong because this was not as good.
It was one of the weaker ones, I would say.
This was a noticeable fall off, and I think it's because Samurai Shodown 3 comes out after the first King of Fighters comes out.
Yep.
Which becomes the new baby. And it's obvious with the quality of Samurai Shodown 3. However, there's always a bright spot.
Yeah, it's still
We've
fun.
got some new characters.
Yeah, I don't remember all of them, but I do remember 2 that stuck out for like the rest of the series for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Shizumaru, the young apprentice of Harumaru that uses an umbrella for a weapon.
Umbrella Boy.
Yeah, Umbrella Boy.
As
I love
we
it.
called him.
He was super fun. He was really cool. I liked him a lot more than I expected to. The other one that I loved was Basara, this undead dude. He's tall, skinny. He has kind of long, wild hair. And then he uses this huge shuriken on a chain for a weapon.
Yeah, it's very much like a hell chain. It's a huge...
It's cool. A gigantic chain. The chain itself is very large, and the shuriken is like massive. He was tight. He was
very cool.
He was super, super cool. He was pretty great. I loved seeing him for like the whole rest of the series and all the other games. He became a mainstay. And so did Shizumaru, Umbrella Boy. Were there any other new characters?
There was a new character, and this character is very much my type of character that I gravitate towards. His name is Amakusa.
Oh, yeah. How could I forget? That's the boss of the first game.
Yes, so the very first game, throwing it back, and now in 3, you can play this motherfucker. He's one of my favorites for sure. Oh, did we talk about the... Oh, yeah. I always forget about him.
Yeah, he's not one that I often think of, but he was very cool in 5 when they brought him back. But Guerilla, he has giant prayer beads that he wears. Rimururu, Nakaroro's younger sister. She was the ice one.
This was a character that I didn't vibe with.
Same.
I didn't really care for this character the first time I played her. So I kind of mentioned that this is a fall off point a little bit, but the reasons are, first off, there's no more ref.
Yeah,
there's
the
no more guy
gone.
with flags. He's gone.
Yeah, there's no item guy and no flag guy. But the food still just randomly shows up on the fight line, so you can still pick the food up.
It does feel as if there are less clashes.
Yeah, it did seem like there were fewer clashes.
I rated this one a 6 out of 10 because I felt like there were a lot of weird changes in this game. I mean, the no ref, that's a big deal for me.
That was weird.
I felt like he was one of the pieces that made this game Samurai Shodown.
Yeah. Yep,
so to have no ref, I was very disappointed. Lots of weird changes, though. The character select add-ins where you would pick your character and then you would have to pick a mode for your character between 2 different types, and then you'd have to pick another thing for them. Yeah,
you had a slash or bust version. You had an upper class, middle, beginner, whatever variation system. It seemed overly complicated for no reason.
Coming from the beautiful character select screen, sorry that I'm talking about this so much, but the character select screen of 2 being so good, to coming to 3's character select screen, it's sad.
Yeah, it was kind of a bummer.
Any of the staying casts are just gone now.
Yeah.
So people that were around for the first 2 games are just eliminated suddenly. And unfortunately for us, that was a few people that we liked. So yeah, it's unfortunate that at this point we are not seeing Earthquake, we're not seeing Wanfu, and we're not seeing Genon.
Yeah.
I feel like those were all pretty strong characters and unique and good.
Yeah.
And then they just fall off.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a downside for me. That's why I rated this one lower too. But the plus side is that the new characters are pretty good.
They are, yeah.
My favorite characters in this game ended up being Ukyo again. Basara was a standout and really fun. And then I keep tying up Hanzo with a third person, and this time it's Hanzo / Amakusa is what I put for this one. In parentheses next to Amakusa, I put, you know my type.
That's funny. The one note that I have about Amakusa in my notes is he's super fun to play and makes me excited for Quenchy.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Just being a little shit with spells.
Little shithead wizard that's just chucking spells all over the screen constantly. And he kind of uses a yo-yo spell too.
That's true.
I love that move.
You called him the yo-yo man.
Yeah, I call him the yo-yo wizard. And I did want to mention that Charlotte and Jubei are both missing from 3.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, right? Weird. Those 2 characters were not in 3. And that was kind of weird because
that is weird.
They even went through the trouble of making Charlotte cooler in 2. And then they removed her from the game.
Mm-hmm. They're like, she's too good. We have to make people forget she exists.
Yeah, Fencer.
We didn't make her that good. We never did that.
We didn't do that. She never made cool shapes with her sword.
You just wait. You just wait. You just wait.
Yeah, my top 3.
Oh, yeah, your top 3.
I thought Genjiro got even better, so probably Genjiro.
Okay. Big Genjiro man over here.
Yeah, I liked him a lot. Basara and... let's go with Shizumaru. So 2 of the new guys.
Okay, yeah, Umbrella Boy.
Yeah. I ended up really liking that character.
I almost forgot about him.
Yeah. I really...
just like he would forget about me.
Yeah, he doesn't remember things, apparently. I don't know how deep his amnesia goes, but yeah, I guess you kind of forgot about him. That's really all I had, I guess.
Okay.
I just, I wanted to get my top 3 in.
A bunch of boys.
Just a bunch of boys.
Moving on to 4?
Moving on to 4, 1996, Samsho 4. And this is the last one that they released all in a quick burst. But yeah, 1996.
Probably for the best,
Probably.
because it gets a little bit worse even.
Yeah. Samurai Shodown 4, Amakusa's Revenge is the full title.
It's a good title.
It's a good title. And with that, you know that the wizard Amakusa, the yo-yo wizard, is back. The new characters, there's a couple of new characters, and they're fine. I'm pretty sure every character from the previous game returned.
I rated this one even lower.
Oh, okay.
I gave this one a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
I think SNK had other priorities by this point.
Yeah, probably.
Tam Tam returns after being gone for 2 games, and Jubei returns after 1.
Yeah.
Big weird roster, but doesn't feel like it has that many characters. It lacks the richness.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because it lacks a lot of those unique characters still from the first couple.
But does add in 2 new samurai style characters. So it's
kind of welcome.
It's the Fire and Water Bros, the Kazama brothers.
Kazamas. Yeah. Kazuki Kazama and Sogetsu Kazama. Kazuki is the fire guy, and Sogetsu is the water-based samurai. I feel like I enjoyed Sogetsu more of the 2 because he had this water move that he could project out, and then it would stay on screen and you could kind of use it as a trap. I did that a lot. That was like my main go-to once I played him.
Yeah. I wasn't a huge fan of the Fire Brothers, like, exploding pants move. I don't love this animation. I know you kind of like that, though.
I think I liked it better when it came back as a different character in 5.
Yeah. We haven't mentioned yet that there's, like, kind of fatality-esque
Yeah.
I guess I don't even know what you would call it.
They're almost, I think they're called fatalities, but they're more
okay.
like a brutality from Mortal Kombat where it just happens at the end of the fight.
Yeah.
And sometimes it'll happen when you have like 40% of your health left just because you screwed up and whipped something big and then you got hit with a single heavy attack.
Yeah, I don't know what triggers them, but we saw it happen quite a bit. So
yeah. And it's pretty cool because you'll cut the character down and sometimes they'll just like shoot blood out of their chest and collapse.
My favorite is the slice in half
slide
off.
Yeah.
Slow slide.
Yeah, they get cut like right in half at the waist and they're like, and then just like slide off.
But I gave this one a 5 out of 10 because I feel like it was kind of like 3 in that it's just got a lot of the same characters and it's also missing a lot of the same characters. Yeah. So, and then it has just like some weird elements to it. For example, the health bars.
Oh, I didn't like the health
You'll
bars.
notice I said bars because you have 2 stacked bars for whatever. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
That was just a weird element that they decided to go with, like longer health bars, but you still do relatively large damage, so it doesn't matter.
Right. I felt
weird.
It didn't matter for sure.
It was a choice I didn't really care for. Another weird choice, the Naginata dude, the Kabuki man. He has a giant frog now for part of his special moves.
Yeah, a big green frog comes out of the ground.
Yeah, and I love it. As soon as that started happening, I started picking him a lot more in 4 and then 5 as well. Like, oh, I gotta pick this frog dude. I'm a big frog fan. That might be a weird thing to say on a fighting game podcast, but I think frogs are cool. I was pretty hyped to be able to use one in combat.
Who were your favorite characters of this game?
Oof. In this one, like you said, Jubei returned, and I didn't really vibe with him as much in this. So I feel like probably just a couple of the classics, like Genjiro, Galford, Basara probably again, honestly, because I thought he was super cool.
Okay.
Maybe the Umbrella Boy. You're looking at me like you can't pick 4. Genjiro, Shizumaru, Basara. Same as 3.
Oh, okay. Mine are a bit different than 3. Just slightly, though. Once again, I went with Ukyo.
Okay.
And once again, Hanzo's a pretty tried and true for me. Yes, I've picked him a few times. And then for the first time ever, I don't remember why exactly, but I put Galford. I've always liked him, but he's never been on my top 3 characters until this game. I don't remember why I put him there.
Was it because this is the one we finally got to see Poppy's family in?
In 4?
Maybe. It was in 3 or 4. 3 or 4. They started to blend in a little bit
3
once.
and 4 definitely bleed.
Yeah, they bleed together. But in one of those 2 games, you get to see Poppy's family, and it's really cute.
Yeah, it's so cute.
And it doesn't happen until the second round of the fight.
I think it's 3. And for some reason, Galford made my top 3 favorite characters in 4. I guess I was just really vibing with the ninjas of 4.
Yeah, you must have been.
I was just holding on for dear life, like, give me something. All right.
Yeah.
And they did, because we've got number 5 to talk about. The last that we will talk about today in our collection.
Yeah. And we went with Samurai Shodown 5 Special, the second and more definitive iteration of the game. This was probably my favorite of the collection. I really, really enjoyed it. And we played this one for twice as long as the others because we had heard good things about it. And we really wanted to sink our teeth in and just get a real good feel for it. So that's what we did. That being said, this game came out in 2003, so there was a 7-year gap between games. And I feel like it shows because the quality was a huge step up from 4. The backgrounds were so much nicer looking. I loved it. I just liked the art style of it a lot more.
Okay.
I liked the art style of the characters. They seemed like they were more detailed. I feel like I liked a lot more of the stages compared to the last 2 games. And I just felt like overall this one felt a lot more like the series that I think I came to love already in the first 2 games, which is weird to say, right? Like since we played them all at once, but yeah, it felt like it had a little bit more heart to it than 3 or 4.
I gave this one an 8 out of 10. Okay. So pretty good. I thought the roster was great. We definitely needed more time to play this game because the roster was much bigger than before. I felt the stages and the music and the quality of some of the mainstays in the game was lacking. sometimes.
I know you mentioned that.
But I feel like new characters were great.
There were quite a few new characters, and I think most of them were solid.
Some of the stages were still really good, though. My favorite, by far,
they had one of the best stages in the series.
Being the tribute to our beloved flag guy, the referee.
Yeah,
there's a stage full of them. They're all practicing their flags.
Guys.
And there's even one just beating a drum. And then there's a gallery of them just watching.
Yeah, there's a group of them off to the side that are just crouched down watching the fight. I love it. There's like 20 different flag guys. And they're all just like hanging out, doing their flag guy stuff. That was a great stage. That was one of my favorites, for sure. Probably my number one, actually.
Yeah, definitely my number one. Now let's talk about these new characters, shall we? So,
a couple of the standouts. I want to jump right into Kusari Gedo, someone we've talked about in depth on the show before. But yeah, I got to play him finally, and I thought he was crazy.
Okay, this character is actually scary.
Yeah, we talked about him on our horror character.
Teams.
Yeah, when we made our teams of 3 horror characters, which was a lot of fun. He was one of my choices, and I finally got to play him, and he's actually terrifying.
He is so scary to see.
To go up against.
And
he's
to
huge.
play against, for sure. I was out there fighting for my life as Galford.
Yeah, and he does some
please
crazy...
don't eat my dog.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you were saying that. You're like, don't eat my dog, and he's just like slapping the ground, making demons come up.
His sound effects.
Waving his tongue around.
He's scary.
Yeah.
That is something of a character for sure.
He was insane.
I'm glad that they brought back the huge character with him.
Yeah, they were
Earthquake
missing.
had been absent since 2.
Yeah, and we
didn't have anybody that big. They brought Guerilla, but
he's not as big though.
He's not like that big.
Like you don't see him and you're like, that's a big character.
Right.
Yeah,
oversized.
Yeah, so he was cool. He was oversized for sure, and it felt like if you got cornered by this Kusari Gedo dude, it was kind of frightening because he could be at mid-screen and just be poking you, and you were stuck.
Yeah, or just like continuously slapping the ground and screaming in your face.
Yeah, jumping up and doing butt slams. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had a lot going on. He was very cool. Getting his arm cut off and then just like shrieking and picking it back up and putting it on.
Zonkuro. That's who I first picked in 5 because I was just drawn in by that dead-faced portrait. Like, who the fuck is this guy? I played him and he was okay. He's a new character. Did you like him?
Yeah, I did. I played him a lot later, and I felt like I was doing pretty solid with him overall.
But one of my favorite new characters that I chose shortly after that was Yoshitora.
Yep. Okay.
And he is cool.
He very cool.
He has a really cool look. He's got a lot of swords. And he's got the ladies. Yeah. They're back.
Yeah. And
this time they're after Yoshitora.
And he's got that style that, like, I knew you were going to like immediately. He's
really a new samurai
sassy.
character.
He's cool. For the game. He was a lot of fun.
I think he was awesome in that game. When you played him, you had fun too.
Yeah, I thought he was a ton of fun. I also thought another newcomer that was really fun was Gao, the guy with the spear with 3 ends on it.
He was cool.
It was like a cross spear. Cool. Yeah, that was super cool. He was fun.
I did feel like the classic characters, so to speak, so like Ukyo, Hanzo, Genjuro.
Yeah.
So characters that have been in a lot of the games, I felt like maybe they kind of took a backseat just because, as we're talking about right now, there are a lot of new characters in this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I feel like they really wanted to kind of give a spotlight to these newer characters.
I don't know that I played Hanzo in this game. I don't think I did. I did play Ukyo, and I still had a lot of fun with him, but I would agree on that front that he did feel just a little bit worse. Like, it was a little bit harder to get that damage.
Fun. Yeah.
I would completely disagree with Genjiro, though. This was my favorite appearance of him.
That's right, you slapped.
I feel like I absolutely slapped when I picked him. He was super, super fun. I was doing all these crazy-ass grabs and air combos. Like, he was the only person that I saw do air combos.
That's right. But back to all these new people, Mina is the bow user of the fucking century.
Yeah, a premier zoner, I guess you could say.
Yeah, definitely. She's like all zoning.
Yeah.
And a baby?
Yeah,
she brings a baby with her.
It's like the pets, but weirder. The first time we've seen a character that has like a little pet for the first, like, in a while.
I don't think the baby helps fight, but she can command the baby to sleep.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Yeah, there was one...
Go to bed, it's getting a little bit too violent. I'm going to shoot lots of arrows above you.
There was one fight where we were going off, and I don't remember who I was, but we were fighting just back and forth, and then we landed on either sides of this sleeping baby and just happened to notice it was sleeping, and we just stopped and crouched by it together.
So she's an interesting new character for sure.
Yeah.
And then we also get the boss from the second game. Mizuki is playable in 5, and she's my favorite new character. Surprise!
She was sweet.
She is a creepy priestess-like lady, and she has long fingers and really long fingernails, and she has a creepy, like, dual-tone voice and laugh, and she's great.
AKI laugh.
I love her.
Yeah, she was a lot of fun. She was super cool. You've also got Rira, and her wolf companion. You get another wolf user, or dog user.
That's right. I didn't get this girl.
I thought she was really fun. She did seem a little bit more complicated because she had a stance.
Yeah, I wouldn't understand
no,
that.
I don't mean... You gave me this look like, are you kidding me? When I said that she was more complicated. I liked it. I thought she was really cool. The other guy that I thought was really cool, Enja. And I wrote his name in all caps in my notes. That was the first thing I wrote down. He's this fighter with these huge metal bracelets, and he has fire abilities. And like we said, the exploding pants move. This is a really weird move, but it seems to work better with Enja. This dude
Does it?
I think so. I think this dude's tight as hell. He's like this crazy, like...
I guess he just, like, melt into hell at the end when he
he
just grunts and melts into the ground.
Yeah, he melts into the floor, and there's, like, demonic symbols that show up, and flames burst out of the floor. But yeah, he uses all sorts of sweet-ass flame moves, and I thought he was really cool. He had metal bracelets, but he didn't really use, like, a weapon.
There's another fighter with bracelets.
Yeah, and I didn't like that one. I didn't really vibe with that dude at all. He was sort of water themed as well because he would show up out of a puddle at the beginning, but then I couldn't really get any of his shit to come out. He didn't really seem to have any water based attacks. It seemed like he was just he did a lot of little screams. I just remember he was constantly screaming in like a high pitched voice.
Yeah.
Every single move he did would scream.
Are there any more new characters, or was that all?
I feel like there might have been a couple others.
It's actually crazy how many new characters there are in this game. Like, I'm not kidding when I say the roster is, like, maybe more than twice the size of any of the other ones so far.
I think it's about 30 characters.
It's a lot.
It's cool, and it feels good. There was an old man that you tried out and didn't really like. I don't remember what his name was, but yeah, there was an old man character.
There was. He has kind of like a shorter sword.
Yeah, he had like a short scimitar and like a little hand blast move of some sort. They did make Guerilla, the big, bulky, dumb-looking monk.
Oh, they made him, like, weird.
They made him look really stupid in this game, but they made his moveset sick.
Yeah, he was pretty nuts.
Yeah,
That's a character that would be really interesting to get into more.
Yeah, I felt like I was doing all sorts of grapple moves with him and all sorts of crazy shit that I didn't expect to be doing. He was actually a lot of fun. Raketsumaru. Forgot about that dude. The evil version of Haomaru. The one move that I kept doing on accident with him was this move where I would slash my chest and lose like 20% health.
Whoops.
That's
sounds like Kodal.
Yeah, so that's like the one move that's the one thing that I have on my notes for him.
Okay.
I kept slashing my own chest and losing health.
Nice.
There's probably an advantage to that, but I never found out what it was because I only played him the one time and just kind of went like, maybe not. Maybe not for me. But he was kind of cool. He was cooler than Haomaru anyway. It's just an evil version. I think that's it for the new people.
Amakuso is back.
Yeah.
Still tight.
Yeah.
Very
still
much.
Really, really cool.
Very much my dude.
Yep. Same.
Making Ukyo cough over and over on the select screen. Their face will change when you're on them on the select screen.
Yeah, and the character...
There's just like fun little elements.
The characters actually do an animation with like the full body sprite that they show off. And yeah, we were just constantly just cycling over the top of Ukyo, just making him cough.
I think this 1 and 2 have the best rosters.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the only thing that's really missing from this roster are some of those very early staples.
Genon and Earthquake and Wanfu missing it's a travesty.
It really
I feel like
is.
those are 3 very solid characters that were around in the beginning that should have been around more.
I agree. They were all very unique as well, and they would add something to this, but you do get a lot of very cool characters in the game. A lot more actual straight up samurai, and you get some weird monk fighters and stuff too. But yeah, I don't know why they chose to get rid of all 3 of those characters for so long.
I don't know.
It's weird. I'm trying to narrow down a top 3, but it's honestly kind of hard for this game.
It is. I actually didn't even write down a top 3 for 5 because I have like several.
There are so many. Do you want to just hit me with like a quick list of like the ones that stood out to you?
I think I'll say definitely Mizuki, the boss from 2.
Okay.
Yoshitora, the new guy with the swords and the ladies.
Yep. He was very cool.
I guess I would have to say Amakusa because I praised him in my notes here. That's probably my top 3 for that game.
Okay.
I felt like, once again, the mainstays that you've been seeing in my top 3 a lot, like Ukyo and Hanzo, they're not as strong in this game. I know I've only played it, like 1 time so far.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think I'm going to stick by that statement and that
Okay.
I feel like they're not as strong. Maybe I'll eat my words when I go back and play again, but we'll see.
I already want to go back and play. It's so fun.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good.
What's your top 3?
Oh, man. It's really hard to narrow a top 3 down, but I feel like my standouts were Genjiro, Umbrella Boy, and Kiyoshiro, the guy with the naginata, the frog guy.
That's a surprising
surprise top 3. I
guess.
I really enjoyed the frog move in this game.
Well, overall, rating-wise, my ranking of these first 5 Samurai Shodown games goes as follows. Number 1 is 2, being 10 out of 10 to me. That's a great version of Samurai Shodown because it's still one of the first 2, and I feel like the first 2 games are pretty golden.
They are.
That being said, number 2 for me is number 1 with being 9 out of 10.
Okay.
And then number 5 is 8 out of 10. Number 3 is 6 out of 10. And number 4 is 5 out of 10.
Okay.
So 2, 1, 5, 3, 4. That's my rank.
I mean, I semi-agree with it. Mine's a little bit different. But
Okay.
I don't have like the numbers out of 10.
That's okay.
But I would put the 5th game as my favorite, followed by 2, 1, 4, 3.
Okay.
And I only put 4 ahead of 3 because it had a couple extra characters plus the full roster from 3. But aside from that, like those 2 games, 3 and 4, were definitely the weakest. 5 is my favorite for sure.
5 is pretty hard to beat just because of the roster alone. It's very big.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just leave you with my overall first thoughts of this series that I had yet to play until now. It's an amazing SNK series with one of the strongest starts I have seen.
Yeah.
These games push the boundaries of what is a fighting game and opened my eyes to concepts that had never crossed my mind for a fighting game. Well, do you have anything else to say about the series before we close out?
Yeah, I think Samurai Shodown kicks ass. I think this collection was super cool. And if you ever see it for a good price, you should 100% buy it and play it with your friends because it's a great time. It rules.
And you can play all of these online.
Yeah, you can play every single one of them online, which is great. That's really cool. So, yeah,
So if you don't have any friends to play with, get online and find some people to clash.
Yeah, definitely.
And keep them away from picking up their weapon. Make them nervous.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a price for it.
Cast spells on them and laugh. And run away. And turn into a log. And throw your dog at them. And ride your wolf at them.
So many cool things.
And put your baby to sleep in front of them.
Yeah. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, or like call out your call out your dead wife and have her turn into skeletons before or turn into a skeleton before collapsing.
Oh my god, that's something I forgot to mention when we were
That's
saying
a good
that.
mid-round.
When we were saying that 3, you were telling me 3 was controversial. I wasn't aware that one of the reasons it could have been controversial was during Basara's his super move involves these hallucinations or ghost figures of his dead wife, and she's naked.
Yeah, all her bits are covered.
Yeah,
with
she's
her hair
covered,
and
but you
stuff,
can 100% tell that she's just out there naked.
Yeah, she just floats in.
So it's a bit risque.
It is.
An arcade game from 95?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was cool.
But yeah, cool. I guess we had the fairy in Zelda, so...
Yeah, so people were ready for it.
They were ready, yeah. Well, we hope you enjoyed this installment of our Samsho files.
Yeah. And if you want to hear more Samsho, let us know.
If we messed anything up, please forgive. And let us know how we can fix that.
Yeah.
Because we had a lot of fun with these games. I would say this is probably the most fun I've had playing a fighting game from its beginnings, in the 90s, in a long time.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a really good one. So if you haven't played the first 2 of these games, I would really recommend it. Try it out. Sure. And let me know what you think, because I think there's a lot of good in these games. Let us know if you agree. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you think some of the elements that Samurai Shodown introduces are unnecessary. But let us know. We're here for the discussion, obviously.
Yeah. A little bit of a long one.
Yeah, so if you're still hanging on here, we just want to say we appreciate you so much. And play some Samsho. Get into it. Let's get some more representation for this game out here because definitely. It's great.
It is. It's super cool.
And we'll hopefully see you more in the future for future Samurai Shodown themed episodes. So that is all for now. Take care, and until next time, we are Wake Up 3. Deuces.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Wake Up 3. You can follow along on Twitter at Wakeupthreefgc or on YouTube and Spotify at Wakeup3. I'm your host Cam, and you can find me at Big Ruck Online on all social media.
And I'm your host Molly, and you can find me on Twitter at Concut, that's KAHNKUT, or on PlayStation, that's Jan Michaels.
This is Wake Up 3 signing off.
Bye.
I know Galford would say something to his dog Poppy.
Yeah.
Pet it or good job Poppy or, whatever.
Nice Poppy.
Nice Poppy. He talks weird and I love it.